Welcome to the MicroMolar Podcast Biotech Headline Series.
Your daily rundown on the big news in biotech. Today is Monday, April 6th, 2026. Let's get right into today's headlines.
Neurocrine is buying Soleno for $2.9 billion to add a Prader-Willi syndrome therapy. This is a rare disease obesity asset with an approved label and shows that buyers are still willing to pay for de-risked specialty medicines.
OpenLoop has acquired Season Health to combine telehealth with nutrition-focused care. The deal reflects growing interest in pairing virtual medical infrastructure with food-as-medicine services.
March's burst of biotech deal-making has raised expectations for a stronger M&A year in 2026. Analysts see the pickup as evidence that larger companies are ready to spend again.
The White House is proposing a 12.5% cut to the Health and Human Services budget next year. If enacted, the reductions will pressure biomedical funding, public health programs, and the structure of key health agencies.
The upcoming FDA decision on Replimune's RP1 is being treated as a key read on the agency's oncology stance. The outcome could shape expectations for novel immunotherapy programs well beyond this one drug.
Recent FDA reversals in rare disease are creating confusion around the use of external controls. Many small rare disease trials depend on non-traditional evidence packages, and inconsistent implementation raises regulatory risk.
Legal and policy momentum around $340 billion appears to be shifting in drug makers' favor. Court rulings could give manufacturers more leverage over discounting and contract pharmacy use.
The UK has struck a pharma trade arrangement with the US that preserves zero tariffs on medicines. This gives the UK an advantage as a stable life sciences base, as other countries face new drug trade friction.
Anthropic is pushing deeper into biotech by acquiring Coefficient Bio for $400 million. This shows how AI companies are trying to translate their model capabilities into drug discovery and development.
Stipple Bio has launched with $100 million to build an oncology platform around more precise cancer protein targeting. Investors are backing the idea that this could open up new targets that traditional approaches have missed.
Syneron has raised another $150 million to keep building out its peptide platform. Investors still see peptides as a major modality with room for multiple clinic-bound winners.
A diabetes cell therapy startup has received $79 million from the Canadian government. The funding supports both development and manufacturing, signaling Canada's effort to build strength in cell and gene therapy.
Novavax is trying to turn Matrix M into a broader vaccine platform through new Sanofi and Pfizer deals. Novavax is positioning itself more as an enabling technology player rather than a single-product vaccine company.
Boehringer Ingelheim says ADCs and T-cell engagers are high on its deal-making wish list. Big Pharma still wants next-generation oncology and immunology platforms.
Drug developers are putting more emphasis on lean de-risking. The idea is to make smarter decisions earlier on biology, toxicology, IP, and manufacturing so young programs reach the clinic with less wasted capital.
The global biopharma pipeline has stalled for the first time in decades. Fewer new programs and more terminations suggest that funding pressure and portfolio pruning are now large enough to affect long-term innovation output.
BioNTech is closing its Singapore mRNA plant, affecting 85 employees. The shutdown is another sign that companies built for the pandemic era are still reshaping footprints as pipeline and manufacturing needs change.
Biopharma layoffs slowed again in the first quarter rather than reaccelerating. The industry may be moving from crisis restructuring into a more normalized phase.
Drug discovery teams are under growing pressure to solve bottlenecks. That makes innovation itself a management problem as much as a scientific one, especially for companies trying to sustain pipelines in a tighter environment.
Bayer has elevated its radiology chief into the top U.S. pharma leadership role. Moves like this can hint at where a company wants more strategic weight.
Biospace says senior leadership behavior is a bigger driver of employee departures than frontline managers. This shifts retention discussions away from middle management and toward executives.
Health tech companies are moving into peptides. Firms that once sold digital services are increasingly trying to participate directly in the therapeutic and prescribing side of metabolic care.
That's all the headlines for today. Visit micromolar.com for more information.
Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.